So welcome back to the channel, and today we're basically going to talk about the Canon 24-105 f4. Let's get straight into the intro. Guys, something crazy just happened. Initially, I was thinking that I've actually made a video about this particular lens already. I thought I reviewed it, not knowing I was wrong. I mean, I've had a couple of 24-105. I think in total I've owned about 4 or 5 of 24-105 f4, and I just can't believe that I don't have an official video about this particular lens. So pardon me about that. Today we're going to dive in and talk about the pros and cons about this particular lens. This lens was actually released in 2005, which actually makes it about 17 or 18 years now of age. So if you are someone that wants to get your hands on this particular lens, maybe you should chill a bit, just relax, like the video, subscribe, and hear me out. The 24-105 lens, it's an OG. This is actually a lens that came with Canon 5D, I believe. Back then, it was a kit lens with the Canon 5D. So normally when you buy the 5D brand new from the shop, it comes with that particular lens. I mean, for the fact that it rolls all the way from 24-105 makes it versatile for most photographers or videographers. 24 on a full frame, obviously you do know that that range is very much perfect. Not the best as a wider lens, but I mean from 24 the range is pretty much fair. It's just that at this point of time where we are right now, if you are getting the lens, it is very rare to get one which is in solid condition, because I mean they do get tired with age and all that. So this particular unit that I actually have has gone through a lot. I mean, the focus ring and it's got some wears here and there, and the ring is a bit tighter and all that. Actually, it's for sale. So if ever you're in Ghana or you're in South Africa and you're interested, link me up, and we'll talk about the price and the shipping and all that. So yeah, I think one of the major advantage of this particular lens will have to be the fact that it comes with an in-body stabilization. Okay, I mean the image stabilization. You guys do know that majority of the cameras these days do not have any IBIS. Okay, most of the cameras do not have an IBIS. So this particular lens being old and it's having an image stabilization, I think it's quite solid, and it will help a lot of photographers or videographers to prevent handshake or shaky footages. Talking about this particular one that we have here, this is the 17-40mm. This is also one of the OG lenses. It's been in the market for a while. This is a perfect wide angle lens, and sometimes I do struggle when it comes to photography and videography side where I have to go handheld. The lens itself does not have any IBIS compared to the 24-105, so this one shooting a handheld video or photo is a bit tricky. You really need to be very much stable when you are shooting with this particular lens. Another thing that I'll tap on with regards to this particular 24-105 is because it's got a filter. Okay, I'm not sure what type of filter that is, but if you look at the back of it, you can see that there is a particular section that is actually made purposely for filters. I'm not sure, once again, what type of filter it is. I'm not sure what exactly Canon made that for, but it looks like from time to time they are getting outdated, and I don't think people still use this type of filters. But if ever you're in a market and you still have this particular filters and you want to go in that way or use this particular filters, then I guess you have the chance and options to go that particular way. I mean, 24 once again to 105 is a solid focal length, especially if you're on a full frame body. But if you're on a crop sensor body, be expecting a massive zoom in, because 24 on a APS-C crop sensor camera is going to time set 1.5 or 1.6 times, so you'll be very much zoomed in, and you're not going to get wide angle. It's going to be very much tighter. So 24, obviously it's going to be zooming in on an APS-C body. So that's something that you always need to take into consideration. You'll pretty much enjoy it if you're coming in with a full frame body, but if you're an APS-C user, then I'll really suggest maybe you look elsewhere. Maybe the 17-40 might do a better job than that particular one, as long as you are not aiming for any image stabilization. We're going to dial into the disadvantages as well. It seems like the advantages are really not that much, but it is what it is. For my time of using this particular lens, this is what I can actually pinpoint. The lens is extremely heavy. Okay, I've had the lens, I've tested the lens, I've used the lens, I've owned the lens, I've I've used it in different scenarios, and trust me, I shot this particular image with the 24-105. I shot this as well. I've done a couple of work with this particular lens, and trust me, it is very heavy. It's a lens that it's going to build your muscle. All right, I know that is why Canon actually tried to implement the RF version, because those newer models are a bit lighter and they actually have IS on it. There have been a couple of new features that has been implemented in the new model. So with this particular old one, it is heavy. That's something that you need to know when you are getting your hands on it. But I think if you are placing it on a tripod, you're definitely not going to feel the weight. But if you are using a gimbal or you are going handheld, you're definitely going to get that. You feel it, definitely. And that's something that always pulls me away from going back to the 24-105. Another disadvantage that I would like to tap on will have to be the zooming thing, the zooming mechanism. Okay, the lens is already heavy, as I said, and trying to zoom in is really not the best. It also increases the weight and all that, especially if you are balancing it on a gimbal. So the focal increasing thing is a problem, because I come from, or I've used majority of lenses that do not even extend when you zoom in, like this particular one. When you zoom in, it does not increase in length. With the 24-105, when you zoom in, it increases, it gets longer, and it's very much annoying, trust me. Another disadvantage that I would like to tap on is it does not lock the focal length. Okay, the lens does not lock. Most of the lenses that I've owned in the past, when you try to zoom in, it stays consistent regardless whether you do this or you do that or whatever you position the lens. But with the 24-105, once you zoom in, you don't even need to zoom in. Once it's even extended to its normal focal length, and you do this, it just drops. It just goes that way, and it's very much annoying. Trust me, you really don't want to experience that. It's very much annoying, and I don't know why Canon decided to do that. At least they could have put a locking mechanism on it, so that when the lens is not being used, we can lock it so it doesn't, it just falls apart just like that. And it's very much, it's frustrating. It's not all that bad though. It's an old lens. I don't think we got to complain that much. Another thing that I would like to pinpoint it uses a 77 filter thread. So if you want to put filters on it, like this particular one here, it's 77, and 77 is very much popular in the market and cheaper as well. So I think that is one factor to consider whenever you are getting a thread for it. So 24-105, in today's standard, I'm not gonna say it is the best in the market. I'm not gonna say it's a beast, especially it's being f4. I believe there are way better ones, especially the RF side. You can get a better one, even though it's not that much of a massive change, but I believe the newer models will do a perfect job, especially for the fact that the newer models do lock in place. It doesn't drop like the older version, and it's having IS as well. I do know that the old one got an IS, but remember, they do add a little bit of implementation, so that one actually stabilizes much better than the older version. It's a lens, trust me, it does work. So at this point, I would say if you need a normal lens, a standard full frame lens to work with, if you just need something to keep in your kit for memory purpose, if you want to keep it, and some time back you can reflect in the past and be like, no, because I believe as time goes on, it will be very hard to pick up this particular lens. So if you get one in the market which is very clean, I will pretty much suggest you go for it. But if you get one which is not in good condition, then I will advise you to skip that particular lens. If you're also someone that you do not need any lens in a rush, then I think there are better lenses to consider, especially 24-70 is there, and that is actually f2.8. Even this one, which is the 17-40, is there, but you should be aware that you're not going to get a tighter focal length. There's a trade-off here and there, but I think there are more better lenses to consider than the 24-105, the older version. So it's to me, it's not the best in today's standard. I think there are way better lenses to consider than that particular lens, especially it's coming in with its current price. It's not cheap. It's not cheap by any means. For the fact that it's old, It's not very cheap unless you get someone who is really desperate and willing to let go the lens for anything. So far so good. If you are in for it, you can go for it, but always bear in mind with the pros and the cons. Overall, that's my thought about the 24-105. Thank you for coming. Do not forget like, subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in another video. Stay safe. Peace.